711-6996. That's 844-711-6996. Or click on one of our Stay Cool ads at KCAAradio.com. You're listening to KCAA, your good neighbor along the way.
The views of the following show are not necessarily the views of broadcast management or its owner. But then again, the views of broadcast management are, well, different. And now it's time for On the Mark Live with host Mark Westwood. Finally, a show about KCAA. Hot topics, a little locomotion, current events, news, laugh, reviews, and a roll of reverence. And you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 3, 2, 1, Mark.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Mark Westwood, the host here every Wednesday at 3 o'clock. And very grateful to be here and bringing you different candidates now as we come into political season. Election is just about 56 days away.
Yep,
56.
It might actually be 50 today.
Maybe 50 days away. And today we'll be interviewing Sean Flynn, who's a candidate for the 31st Congressional District, Republican candidate. Also, later on, we're going to have a Democrat. And we'll have Denny Antoinette Manzingo, and she is going to be running for 42nd Assembly District, I believe, against the current incumbent named Chad Mays. Right now, Sean has taken on the task of running against an incumbent as well. The Republican, he's running against Democrat Pete Aguilar. And so we're going to get to know Sean a little bit today. And that's the purpose of these interviews, is to get to know the candidates. We don't necessarily grill them. We don't necessarily, skewer them. We do want to know where you stand on the issues. And so we'll ask you about things like that, and then you can expound on that. We're going to just have a little chat. So first of all, I want to tell you about Sean. Sean is an author and a writer, best known international bestseller, Economics for Dummies. You might recognize that name. It's pretty well known, actually, Economics for Dummies. Sean is an entrepreneur, has grown business, taught college students. Where did you teach college at?
Currently, I am at Scripps College, one of the 5 Claremont colleges over in Claremont, California.
Okay, very good. And you're an expert on the best ways to reform troubled healthcare system. So you know a little bit about healthcare, and
I do.
And insurance care is what I call it at the moment.
Yeah, yep.
Not really healthcare. It's kind of cleverly disguised as healthcare, but you really don't get health from insurance companies.
Yep.
You get payments from insurance companies, and there's the problem there. And hopefully somewhere we can find middle ground on that and figure that out, folks, because it's really important to our health and everybody's health, whether a Republican or a Democrat. And Sean is the founding board member of the Employment Means Success, an Inland Empire nonprofit that helps disabled workers find jobs every year. Employment Means Success. We'll talk a little bit about that. That sounds a little interesting. And you're a trustee on the San Bernardino County Pension Board.
Yes, that's right. Protecting $10 billion in assets for our retirees from the county.
Wow, $10 billion. I knew that would be that big, but then again, some of these county workers make a lot of money.
They do.
They make a lot of money. I was amazed. I went on something called Transparent California not too long ago, and oh my.
Yes.
I was looking up.
Well, some of the state employees, though, then you're really talking. I think the head dentist in the state makes, $600,000 a year working for the prison system?
Yeah, there's got about 600 who make about $340,000 a year. And, I looked into the city of San Bernardino, Sean. Like, oh my God, this city is bankrupt, and it has been bankrupt. It's out of bankruptcy now, but it's teetering, folks. It could go back there, and I think there's no mistaking it. And I went back about 11 pages before I could make and find somebody making under 6 figures, $99,000. So that's a lot of workers. Excuse my clearing my throat here. I have an allergy going on. You're the former chair of the Business Economic Department at Scripps College in Claremont, and also research specialist, behavioral economics and behavioral finance. And then this says fiance, by the way.
Oh, it does? Oops.
Yeah, I'm a little bit editor. It says fiance.
I may have typed that myself. Oh, my goodness.
You might want to explain that to the wife.
I'm single.
Are you single? Oh, okay. No wonder.
No fiancés.
Behavioral fiance. No, finance, I think is what he meant, since you're mostly in economics. And then an occasional commentator at Fox Business, ABC News, and National Public Radio. You hold a PhD in economics from UC Berkeley, where you completed your dissertation under the supervision of a 2001 Nobel laureate, George Akerlof.
Yes, a very smart guy. And believe it or not, his wife was Janet Yellen, who later became the Fed chief. Right?
Wow.
Smart family.
Janet Yellen. She was on there under Clinton, and I think Trump got rid of her not too long ago.
Yeah, they're on 4-year terms, so
Yeah.
she just essentially was not asked to reapply.
But the former one before that was on for under 4 or 5 different presidents, and stayed forever, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
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 He's the one that kept our interest rates at a negative position for quite a while.
Well, okay, you're thinking Greenspan, who was there for
Greenspan,
20 years, and then it was Bernanke, though, that was there during the financial crisis, and that was 2 4-year terms. I think it was 8 years.
8 years, yeah.
But it was a while.
Yeah. So, and then you're also former Aikido national champion.
A long time ago.
Aikido? Tell me what Aikido is.
Well, if you've ever seen a Steven Seagal movie, you've seen Aikido. So it's
Okay.
a lot of stuff that's taught to the police about twisting someone's arm behind their back so you can get the handcuffs on. So it's a joint locking and throwing martial art. Almost no punches or kicks. It's kind of a wrestling art.
Apparently, you were pretty successful. You coached 5 of your students to U.S. national Aikido titles, and appeared in Sean Penn. What was the guy's name? You just to go to
Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal. I'm just kidding you. After a great career in business and academia, Sean is dedicating his life to helping others achieve success. He believes that the path to prosperity starts with world-class schools, safe communities, and high-quality, affordable health care. Wow, that's kind of then you must be kind of a moderate Republican these days, right?
Well, both parties, I think a lot of it's just rhetoric and posturing. A lot of what goes on in Washington or even Sacramento reminds me of like a WWE show. I actually love pro wrestling, and everyone's got their character, and you stay in character, and you finally, after 20 minutes of smack talking, have a fight, a quote unquote fight, but it's staged, and nothing really gets resolved, and then they just continue the show the next week. So yeah, I'm a moderate in the sense that I think most Americans right now are very frustrated with both parties.
Extreme left, extreme right.
Yeah, well, I mean, most people don't identify with either, extreme left or right, and they just want things to work properly. They don't want a lot of crime. They want the schools to function. They want healthcare to be reasonable, right? You might have to wait a week, but you shouldn't have to wait 6 months if you're a veteran, right?
Healthcare means, and folks, I try to get this across to people, healthcare is not insurance care. I just said it a few minutes ago. I know somehow or other we're going to have to finance healthcare. And I know we can finance healthcare. We have a nation of prosperity and plenty. And so, if we get past that, then we have to figure out a system. Would you favor, let's say, universal healthcare, Medicare for all? What kind of a healthcare program would you want?
Well, I spent a lot of time researching best practice and what actually works the best. And believe it or not, it's really simple things like, economists like this fancy term price transparency, but price tags alone, right? If you've got health insurance right now, you can't get the prices of anything. Like I've got Blue Cross Blue Shield through my employer. I go into the doctor, she does something for me, and then what happens is 3 months later I get a bill, right? And it's crazy numbers, and what happened in the meantime was she submitted some billing codes to the insurance company who denies them, and then they get into a 3-month fight over how much the insurance company is going to pay her, and then I'll get a bill with a little line down at the bottom that says your share is this amount, right? Or pay this amount, right? But could you imagine like going to a restaurant if they wouldn't tell you the prices in advance? Or going to a car dealer who tells you, hey, you like that model? Hey, we've got your credit card. Just take it off the lot now, and in 3 months, we'll start billing you.
So if you need a heart transplant, that should be a certain amount. And then if you need, carpal tunnel surgery, it should be a certain amount. Put a price tag on it.
You should be able to see it. And, we should also, these things should be, there should be a cell phone app, and you just type in whatever you need done. Say, I don't know, knee surgery. Maybe you're Nancy Pelosi, you get Botox done, right? You just type that in there.
Oh.
And then,
you be
boom.
nice now.
Huh? Well, for her forehead, not her tongue. Okay. And so if you do that, you should be able to get all the prices there all at once. And then you could comparison shop.
Now, there's a lot of women out here. You're running for Congress. Why would you say something like that about Nancy Pelosi that might take offense to that, Sean?
Our ladies don't need Botox in the Inland Empire.
Well, neither does Nancy Pelosi. You're not being respectful.
Wow.
You're not being
you could raise an
respectful.
eyebrow to that, but you still can raise an eyebrow to that.
Well, this is true. I don't know if Nancy's had Botox. That's a personal thing or not. Anyway, let's get back onto something that really does matter, and talk about this idea that you have, which I like, is price tags. If, like, for instance, dental's a problem too. Dental's a huge problem. Dental costs are out of control. I have lost a bridge. You can't see it right now. It's in the back of my mouth. But, that's going to cost me probably $11,000 to fix.
Completely out of control.
Completely out of control. You go into a hospital by chance and you got to take an aspirin. It's $150. So don't you think we should have some price controls then?
You don't need them. What you need, you need the greatest price control ever invented, which is free market competition.
That hasn't proven to be correct, though, because insurance companies are free market competition, right?
No, they're
they're
the
regulated.
most heavily regulated industry, and they've captured their own regulators.
As far as their delivery, but not as far as their prices, evidently, because they keep going up by 12 to 15% every year.
That's proof that it's all rigged.
It's not rigged because it's free enterprise. They charge what they want to charge. The doctors charge what they want to charge.
No, this is not true. No.
That's true.
No.
Well, how can you account for the 12-15% increase of prices of Medicare?
Because it's rigged. If you want to, I can explain it to you. But the more important thing is to look at everything in our healthcare system that is not touched by insurance. Everything that's an elective procedure, right?
Well, everything has to be touched by insurance.
No. Insurance will not pay for LASIK eye surgery. Insurance will not pay for cosmetic surgery. Insurance will not pay for cosmetic dentistry, right? There's certain things.
Cosmetic stuff, but it's very expensive stuff too. All of that's expensive, and it keeps going up too.
Well, okay, no. The cosmetic dentistry has actually fallen over time. Not every procedure, this and that, but the stuff that's completely cash and carry where insurance never pays for it.
Well, find me a cheaper dentist. I'd love to go to it.
Well, no, but there's but by cosmetic here, I mean the stuff not covered by insurance. But take LASIK eye surgery, right? There are price tags. There have been for 20 years. When it was first invented, $5,000 an eyeball.
So you're saying it's competitive?
Yeah, well, it has to be because those doctors they can't bill the insurance company, which is a third-party payer. They actually have to go to the customer and say, we need your hard-earned cash. And the customer says, okay, well, you better deliver really high quality at really low prices. And those doctors competing with each other.
Well, low is subjective, though, because I think it's about $2,500 an eyeball.
Nope. You can get it for $500 with a Groupon now. Right, that's not a standard price.
What's a Groupon?
Oh, Groupon! It's this company that's their internet coupons, right? You get a bunch of people together and say they're all going to go to the same doctor in this case, or buy tires at the same company, and then there's a volume discount. So it's like a
co-op, and you get a volume discount.
Well, it's sort of on the fly volume discount. But the even adjusted for inflation, the price of LASIK is down 60% in the last 20 years. In the meantime, the cost of healthcare overall is more than doubled. Right, and you could do that not just for LASIK eye surgery, but cosmetic surgeries. The quality goes up too when there's competition. So think of a Michael Jackson nose job in 1985 versus a nose job now, night and day. And he was one of the richest people in the world back then.
Let me use the price of airline tickets as an example. They're pretty expensive, and they keep going up. And we're getting less services, and we have to pay for more stuff. So what they do is they charge for the ticket, and then you have to pay per bag, and then you have to pay for boarding fees, and you have to, it's going up and up and up. They just figured a different structure for that.
Yeah.
And so
most airlines, but not, Southwest is now the world's largest airline.
All this happened by the deregulation of the airline industry. And so that's what people are feeling and experiencing now is that it's just really expensive to fly and really inconvenient. And so I kind of envision that could happen with medical, don't you?
Okay, but the reason the costs in the airline industry are going up so much is we haven't built out enough airport capacity, right? There's a limited number of gates and number of gate seats, and the airlines actually have to bid for those things, and the price is going through the roof. It's like real estate in Manhattan. There's only so much of it, and the price keeps going up. But we can build more airports. We've got San Bernardino Airport right here. That should be a major commercial hub in addition to Ontario. That would put the prices down at both airports because there'd be some competition.
By how much?
50%, and I say that because
that's way off, Sean. You're not going to go down 50%. Come on.
No. When Southwest Airlines moves into a new market, say Kansas City or something, prices fall 50%. Because Southwest actually competes. It's the only airline that doesn't nickel and dime you for the bags and all that other stuff.
Yeah, because it's so low already. I mean, you're getting a 19-inch seat and no reservations, and you're not getting any services with them. Period. So they can't charge for services they don't deliver.
Okay, so are you saying you don't think competition has any effect at all on improving quality or prices?
But not by 50%.
I can show you the data for Southwest. When they enter a market where they haven't been, where, say, there's only Delta and United.
Well, I think everybody driving on the road right now can say that healthcare isn't going to drop by 50% if we don't say, okay, you can't charge $150 for an aspirin if you have, certain procedures need to be around this price or whatever. I think it would be a much faster route.
$150 for an aspirin.
Because trickle down has never worked. Show me a case where trickle down has ever worked.
No. You need trickle up. Okay, so
trickle up. That's a new one. Okay.
No. It is. It's trickle up. You could say a rising tide lifts all boats, stuff like that. What you need is, here, the state of Indiana has done this with both state employees, Medicaid recipients. You can do this with Whole Foods Markets. Does this all over the country with its employees. Lots of employers. You put people on a combination of two things. Catastrophic health insurance, right? Mm-hmm. Give them an annual deductible, but a reasonable one. At Whole Foods, I think it's $1,850 a year. And then the employer in that case, it could be the government with Medicaid. This is what they did in Indiana. You simply create a health savings account and you gift people the amount of the annual deductible. So they're completely financially safe, right? Because you're paying the premiums in the background. Whole Foods does this. They negotiated with their two unions. They've been doing this since 2002. Company pays the premium. Gives you a high deductible plan, but it's not that high, $1,850 a year, and then they gift the workers $1,850. And what they say is, every year you keep working for us, you get another $1,850, another $1,850,
but $1,850 is kind of high for somebody who's making $20 an hour or $15.
No. They're gifted the money by the company.
But if they're deductible, so
they're gifted the money.
The money's erased by the company.
No. It's put into a health savings account.
Right.
And here's where you start getting all the action. First of all, the people are protected financially.
So that covers their deductible.
Yeah, it's what I call deductible security. You give people deductible security because right now we have.
But who pays for that? The company?
The company.
That's a big company like Whole Foods. What about a smaller company like Broadcast Management Services? How do we afford to do that?
What you would be, except the insurance companies have rigged the regulations, and unless you have 200 employees in the state, you can't get your own.
It is rigged. It's really badly rigged. Yeah.
No. So
I don't argue with you on that. We find some common.
That's rigged.
Yeah.
No. But so what you do here is you put people on this nice combination. You put them on high deductible insurance, catastrophic insurance, but you give them the amount, the annual deductible, and then you tell them very simply, any money you don't spend, you get to keep. It rolls over the next year. All of a sudden, people, you're talking about waste in the system, and there is some waste, but you want people to keep going in for annual checkups, mammograms. They still do, because you can compare people who are on this system with HMOs, PPOs, and whatnot. But healthcare spending falls 35% right there, because suddenly you have an incentive to buy generic drugs instead of brand name drugs.
You're hoping it falls 35%.
No. I can show you the numbers. I'm not making this stuff up.
This is interesting, though, but okay, it totally ties healthcare to employment. So that leaves out older people or younger people?
The state of Indiana did this with Medicaid, including unemployed people.
So that's Medicaid?
No. It's not Whole Foods, but it's the same system. It's the exact same thing. So you put people on catastrophic. So normal Medicaid, right? This was a Medicaid waiver program, a variation. Okay, normal Medicaid is first dollar coverage, right? Which means the government, if you're on that system, pays the first dollar, second dollar, third dollar, all the way up to infinity, right, for your health care. What they created in Indiana, 2011, they call it the Healthy Indiana Program. Everyone go look this up. They created a version of Medicaid with an $1,100 a year annual deductible. And your first reaction should be, oh my goodness, these are people on Medicaid. How could they ever afford $1,100 a year, right?
Or if you're a senior citizen, it's on Medicare.
Yeah. And that's the normal problem with
people can't work for the rest of their lives.
That's right. No. So what you do is you gift them the $1,100. And here's the nifty part. You end up saving a net 12%. Why? Because the healthcare spending falls 35%, even though they're still going in for mammograms, annual checkups, doing the preventive maintenance. But that 35% reduction on the back end more than pays for the $1,100 a year you're gifting them. There's actually a 12% net savings. So for anyone on the left, if you want to know where the money could come from to increase Medicaid's budget 12%, either to improve the provider networks or to increase the number of people in the system, this is how to do it.
All I know is that this nation pays 6 to 6 times more for health care than any other nation its size. And, and offers, far fewer services. And it's all tied to privacy, as, private corporations and insurance companies. We need to look away from that. There are other countries that have the model where, people pay for insurance. It's a low cost, low premium, and they get it. So we can find some middle ground on that. Let's talk about some other things, because we're not here just to talk about healthcare. Okay. Talk about your campaign here a little bit. So you're running for Congress, and you probably, have some events coming up and whatnot. What do you have going on?
Oh, we got community coffees. We've got home meet and greets.
Well, tell us about the community coffees.
Golly, the next one I think is going to be up in Upland the Saturday after next. I'd actually have to look up the exact date on the calendar. But yeah, we're doing a lot. We've got people out knocking on doors every day. We've got people making phone calls every day. Yeah, I just spoke at a Rotary Club, and you just run the candidate.
You were telling me about that.
Yeah. So yes, a lot going on all at once. A full court press because taking out an incumbent, it's a challenge.
Yeah, it's very difficult. Not impossible, but kind of next to impossible when somebody gets in office for whatever reason. People vote for them again. And so you have to overcome that. And so, aside from medical care, which we've covered a little bit and agreed to disagree on some things and agreed on some things, what about things like roads and transportation?
Well, we've been underfunding them massively for decades, and it's showing. And, if you want to talk about deregulation, I can actually show you the best run part of our transportation system was the one that was deregulated by President Carter, which is our railroads. We have the lowest cost and highest safety railroads in the entire world. So there are times when this works.
Well, it works for freight really well.
Yeah,
There's not a lot of people traveling on railroads anymore.
Oh, you mean passengers?
Passengers,
yeah. Well, that's because it's being run by Amtrak. Right? Amtrak is a monopoly. It happens to be a government-run monopoly, but whether government-run monopoly or private monopoly...
See, Amtrak would tell you the government's down on them so much they can't run, and so...
Well, of course. I mean, the Postal Service runs a deficit every year and says they need to raise the price.
Well, they run a deficit because they have to fully fund their pension, like everybody...
But the rest of the federal government funds their pensions.
No.
The federal pensions are funded.
No, not every federal... It's so many years out, like you require the post office to do. They might fund their pensions, but not for the next 30 years.
My guess is if FedEx or UPS had been running the post office for the last 40 years, they'd be able to do it so much more efficiency. They wouldn't just have enough money to fund the pensions. I don't know. It costs a lot
of money to get a package delivered by FedEx, but I can put something in the mail for $1.35 and it gets there the same way.
Yeah, but it's being subsidized by the rest of your tax revenues. But every time the post office runs...
I want some services that I pay tax dollars for. I want some benefit from that. Why shouldn't I have benefit from that?
What if you've got a neighbor who doesn't order a lot
taxes.
of packages? No.
I want
seriously.
my parks clean. I pay taxes. I want to have.
But those are shared resources. The box coming to your house is not a shared resource. Why should someone else have to pay for your package delivery?
Because everybody participates in it. Otherwise, I have to go to FedEx or UPS and pay 20 times more.
People don't have to mail packages.
Yes, you do. You can't survive in this world without, especially with Amazon and everything else and less retail. You have to get mail. You have to use the mail.
But Amazon could set up its own delivery services, and they actually are right now, right?
But
so then Amazon will just charge me the cost of what it is to deliver the package.
And they want to use the drones and all that too. But
now, if you made an argument to me that, hey, we need a postal service because we need to guarantee that everyone who asks for a mail ballot, everyone who asks for a mail ballot will get their mail ballot, right? We need government.
That's a good argument.
No, it is. There are other cases there, but I'm just saying for your package delivery one, that's not persuasive to me because that's your package and you should bear the cost.
Well, it might not be persuasive to you, but people driving down the road go, yeah, I want my letters and mail delivered to my house. I don't want to have to pay FedEx or UPS.
Do you want them at a low, efficient cost? Or do you want a massive monopoly? It happens to be a government-run monopoly, but the problem is it's a monopoly.
And it's worked well for years and years and years. The difference is that there's not some people getting a profit.
I get a
FedEx
piece of mail.
Is a big guy getting a big profit. Well, the United States Post Office is a subsidized benefit to us that we get, just like going to the park and having the grass mowed and watered and neat and clean and trash free and available to us as a service, as a benefit. I pay taxes all the time. I want to get some benefit from that. So what's the argument against that?
Getting benefits?
Yes.
Well, no. There's no argument except there's no political argument. If you and people like you want to pay really high taxes and
that's everybody.
No. If you want to pay high taxes for high levels of amenities. It's a democracy. You can do that. What I'm saying is that you shouldn't have to be paying such high prices because if the post office were run better, you could have your package delivered for even less. And you could have your parks cleaned up for even less. And you could have that.
But I want to have my taxes, cover nice things that are benefits to me. Now,
do you want your taxes wasted?
They're not wasted.
Huh?
Why are taxes wasted? On education?
Yes, because we're running the world's least efficient K through 12 system. Yes.
I don't think we're running the world's least efficient K through 12 system.
Yes,
There's a
we
lot
are.
of
For
teachers
inputs
out there
per
that might vote for you right now that would really disagree with you.
No, if we were running it efficiently, their salaries would go up, right? We are wasting lots of money.
Well, this is true. We can spend more efficiently, but I don't think it's the
that's
worst
all I'm
educational
saying.
system in the world.
I didn't say it was the worst. I said it was the most inefficient, right? We put in more dollars per student than any other country in the world. You could just look at the developed countries, and we get completely mediocre outcomes, right? At best, we're 14th in the world on test scores. By some measures, we're dismal, right? And our students also deserve better, right? You go to some countries like Finland or Singapore.
Well, we have a lot of
South Korea.
socioeconomic challenges that have arisen in the past years and decades that have challenged the educational system too.
Look, I went through the LA public schools. They are being run inefficiently, and I tell you, if you really want to help kids who are socioeconomically disadvantaged, make those places
So
run
how are
more
they inefficient?
efficiently.
Are the teachers teaching poorly?
The teachers are not given the latitude to teach well. The teachers who teach well and actually can innovate and do really well with students are paid better.
Do you think it's because of the test result driven system, or?
It was there even before the current mania for testing over the last 20 years. And by the way, the current mania for testing, it hasn't shown the promise that everyone who advocated for it said, which is once we start testing, then the scores will go up, things will improve. That hasn't been the case, right? And then suddenly now you have like Colorado, right, rigging the system, right? There was a ballot initiative there to rate teachers, right, from really high quality down to unacceptable. They did it, and only, 0.03% of the students or the teachers were rated as not effective, right? And so you could compare Colorado's test scores to say what's going on in another country, say Finland or something, or South Korea, and you could
Those
say,
are
wow,
smaller countries though. A lot less system. I think we ought to have a regional education system.
We should be doing even better if we're a bigger country. We got more resources.
I would take the system, and this is a little pet peeve of mine. We try to do a one-size-fits-all law, program, administration, delivery of all of our services. And we're a country that's huge, humongous. And it's different in Washington, D.C., and in Colorado, and Indiana, and Nevada than it is in California. And so I would love to have you back because I think we could get some good synergy going back here. But we're actually out of time because the next person's here.
Okay.
And this 30 minutes went like that.
It did.
But it's good.
No, this was fun. No,
and
and I agree with you on the problems. I think we're just coming at the solutions a little differently. So
I think
I'm
we
having
could find
fun.
a middle ground sometime.
Yes. No,
Sometime.
absolutely.
So before you go, though, do you have a website?
Yeah, sure. Anyone wants to check it out? My name is Sean Flynn. That's spelled SeanFlynn. And then the website is Sean Flynn FOR Congress, SeanFlynn4Congress.com. And all our social media, the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, that's all at Sean Flynn CA, as in California, Sean Flynn CA.
Okay. So Facebook, Sean Flynn CA, and then Sean Flynn FOR Congress.com. He's got an event coming up the week after next, a coffee out in Claremont.
Yes, I think that's right.
Somewhere. Is there a coffee house out there? Or?
Well, check out our social media. Well, there are many coffee houses there.
Yeah, there's many coffee. But I mean, a coffee house you're having it at. You're not quite clear. I understand it.
Well, we
Busy as a
usually use
congressional
Klatch
candidate.
Coffee. We usually use Klatch Coffee.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Sean, it's been a pleasure having you. We'll talk some more. I mean, there's so much more we can talk about.
Absolutely.
And maybe we can find some synergies. But this country, what we really need to do is do this. Sit down at the table, talk back and forth, find what he thinks and how he thinks of something and how I think of something. Or, if we could do that in the United States Congress, for instance, which might be next to impossible, I guess, the way the current system is. We'll talk about campaign financing later.
What a disaster that is.
Yes, it is.
Unbelievable.
Anyway, I've been talking with Sean Flynn. He's running against Pete Aguilar, the incumbent for Congress in the 31st Congressional District. The election is November 6th, and I think we both can agree, just vote. No matter who you vote for.
Absolutely.
Just vote.
Yeah,
and get
turn out
there.
and vote. There's a lot at stake in our country, and we need solutions, and we need everyone pushing our political class towards the best solutions for everyone.
Okay. Thanks very much, Sean Flynn. Mark Westwood for KCAA 1050 AM, 106.5 and 102.3. We'll be back with Denny Antoinette Menzingo, who's running for the 42nd Assembly District right after this.
You've been listening to On the Mark Live with Mark Westwood, a show about KCAA, the world, and you, with more to come in a moment.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, K292FQ Riverside, and K293CF Moreno Valley.
This is a special report from NBC News Radio. President Trump says the federal government won't rest until the Florence job is done. The monster storm has prompted massive flooding in parts of the Carolinas. Talking at the White House today, Trump praised tens of thousands of first responders and federal personnel. He said they've been putting their lives on the line. Trump called it a very dangerous ongoing situation and said it is very scary. North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper says former Hurricane Florence is still wreaking havoc on his state in the form of flooding, home and road damage, 500,000 power outages, and immense misery.
This is an epic storm that is still continuing because the rivers are rising.
The storm has so far claimed the lives of at least 24 people in North and South Carolina. The remnants of Florence are impacting the mid-Atlantic region today with heavy rains and the potential for severe flooding. There have even been a few tornado warnings. Tom Roberts, NBC News Radio.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Rod Tanner. Wrapping up the week, we'll have sunshine this afternoon with a high of 96 with winds to 20 miles an hour. Overnight, it'll be clear. A low 62 will have winds to 20 miles an hour. We'll have a sunny Saturday. Our high 83 with winds to 20 miles an hour. Saturday night looks to be clear with a low of 62. We'll have winds to 20 miles an hour. Sunday should be sunny with a high of 91 with winds to 20 miles an hour. I'm Rod Tanner, broadcasting live from the Tri-City Center with the 10 and 210 freeways. We are the trifecta of talk in Southern California. KCAA 102.3 FM Riverside, 106.5 FM Redlands, and the Legacy, 1050 AM Loma Linda, San Bernardino.
Success Partner presents the all-new Yucaipa and Cala Mesa Morning Market, located on the corner of County Line Road and California Street in the city of Yucaipa. This all-new neighborhood farmers market is open from 8 a.m. to noon on most Saturdays and carries some of the freshest produce in the Inland Empire. The Yucaipa and Cala Mesa Morning Market now open on most Saturdays at 13669 California Street in Yucaipa. 13669 California Street in Yucaipa. More information at 909-222-9293. That number again is 909-222-9293 or email successpartner@live.com. The all-new Yucaipa and Cala Mesa Morning Market, now open on most Saturdays in Yucaipa. Presented by Success Partner.
Join my gang. It's $39.95. Go to philsgang.com, and then why don't you start with a video group where every day I select with this gang a stock. I will follow it based on the money flow. Whether we're shorting it or buying it long, whether dollar strong or weak, they'll be out when the institutions are out because they never have to worry that they're going to wake up the next morning and all of a sudden the stock that they're up 10% in, 15% in drops.
Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-4264. philsgang.com. What are people saying?
On 2018, I'm up over about 15% for the year.
I love the webinars. I love all of the training videos.
Phil has definitely kept me informed on a day-to-day basis on the ups and downs in the market.
I would highly recommend joining Phil's Gang.
Yes, I would recommend Phil's Gang.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264.
Hi, folks. If you're still paying for electricity every month, it means you haven't signed up for the Inland Empire's #1 money savings program offered by Horizon Solar Power. Just call to qualify your home, and Horizon will give you $100 plus pay your electric bill until 2020. It's that simple. Call, qualify, get $100, and no electric bill payments until 2020. So keep your money in your pocket and become energy independent today. Call 844-711-6996. That's 844-711-6996. Or click on one of our Stay Cool ads at KCAARadio.com.
And now it's time to batten down the hatches, because here comes more of Mark Westwood and On the Mark Live. 3, 2, 1, Mark.
And we're back for the second part of our program. Just interviewed Sean Flynn, the challenger of the incumbent Congressman Pete Aguilar, Democrat, running in the 31st Congressional District. An interesting conversation. We sparked a little bit, but, there's some interesting topics raised, and maybe he's got me to think about a few things, and I've gotten him to think about a few things. But we're going to move on now. We have the winner in the 42nd Assembly District in the primary In Riverside County, especially Denny Antoinette Manzingo, and she is the Democrat running and challenging the sitting assembly member for the 42nd Assembly District in California, and that would be Chad Mays, correct?
That is correct.
Well, Denny, let me introduce you a little bit. We got a little bit of something going on my microphone here. I just have to figure it out here. You live in Hemet, and you've lived there since 2012. And if you excuse me just a second, I'm gonna we got this. I'm gonna change microphones out just for a second. And give me just a minute here, folks. And I'm gonna try this microphone. And see how this one works. It looks a little better. This we had a crackle at the beginning, and now we're having a crackle again. So might not be the microphone. It might just be something in the system, but we'll figure it out. I'm going to carefully guide this microphone into the microphone handle without. This is a
Blowing everybody's
eardrum out here. See, this is skill when you can do that. Mostly skill. That's much better. That's actually better. So let's get back to the introduction of Denny Antoinette Manzingo. She lives in Hemet since 2012. She's an attorney in family law. Wills and estate formation for 16 years in the nation's capital. You also worked in the military, correct?
I did for a while. That is
did,
correct.
huh?
I did for a while, yes.
Okay. And you were what they call a JAG.
I was in JAG. I wanted to go to school. I wanted to be make a military career. But because of illnesses and family issues, I was unable to. But I still am a believer, and I still love JAG.
That's great. And was that the Navy?
It was.
It was, huh?
Yes.
Yes. And you have to be a really good attorney to be in the Navy. Yes, I know
hope
that
so.
for sure. And I don't know why we're getting this scratchiness, and I apologize. But we'll try that again.
Okay.
Anyway, you also have been the Commissioner for Women for the 3rd District of Riverside County since 2013, and an advocate on behalf of women's issues.
Yes.
Denny believes that we all need to assist in lifting up those who are not as fortunate as we are.
Exactly.
That's where I and the last candidate that was here kind of disagreed. He didn't believe that we should have benefits from our government, I don't think. It's kind of like, well, you know, you're paying too much for government, and government's inefficient, and educational system is inefficient. And I'm like, well, wait a minute here. We went back and forth on this a little bit. And I know that you and I probably agree more on that.
I kind of think so. I really believe that. Oh, it's in here too. Should I do something?
It might be in the mixer. Are you, Brandon, I apologize to our listeners.
No problem.
Lower the volume down on the main a little bit.
Okay.
And then, well, actually, on the main lift it up, and then lower it then on the Behringer.
All right.
And see if that works. See, we're already better now. We're already better.
Okay.
We were clipping before. Okay.
I truly believe, and I do agree, there is an issue with our educational system. However, I truly feel that we can rectify it.
Mm-hmm.
We have teachers that are using 20% of their income every month.
Mm-hmm.
Are we okay?
We're okay. We're trying to be okay.
Oh,
You keep talking.
Oh, okay. Buying supplies that should be supplied by the city or by the school system.
Okay. And we're getting it now, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're much better off than we were before.
I agree.
Okay.
And I feel that we do have the funds to supply the necessary supplies that are needed in the school system, but they're not.
Well, once we have it, Brandon, maybe we could leave it alone. Is it okay now?
I'm not touching it.
Not touching
I'm
it.
not.
Okay, I apologize for this, Denny. We might have to. I'm going to invite you back again at another time.
No problem.
We'll keep interviewing a little bit and see how this goes. Maybe you can
Okay.
have another show wound up for me. But we definitely have a problem. We just moved into the studio, and unfortunately, sometimes when you do that, the little gremlins get up into things. And right now, it seems to be working okay.
I know.
With nothing touching anything, we're okay.
And if we don't move.
If we don't move, we'll be all right here, I think. But go ahead and what you're saying.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I feel that we do have the funds, but they're just not being distributed as they should be. I feel that these students of ours these children and these grandchildren of ours, they're our leaders today and tomorrow. Right now, we are number 44 on a level of, the number, how well we're doing in school. California is 44. We used to be number 1. We can't even compete nationally, let alone internationally. And if we want our children to be leaders tomorrow, we have to prepare them now.
And we have to properly fund education.
Thank you very much.
And this is where I was differing a little bit with the last candidate. He was pointing to some smaller state with their educational services. I'm like, well, we have 38 million people in the state of California, and we have a lot of kids to educate. So we have a lot of money we've got to spend. We've got to spend money on our roads and our infrastructure. And, relatively speaking, in ratio, of course, we all want to pay as little taxes as possible. But when you compare taxes to fees, and there's never been a fee a Republican hasn't liked, by the way.
Exactly.
They want lower taxes, but then they want to put on fees.
Exactly.
And the fees are 10 times more
than the taxes.
Than the taxes would be, and they deliver less. And the taxes, because a commonality of people joining together, paying for something, works better.
It works much better. And let's talk about the taxes. As a matter of fact, let's go to the cap and trade. I was against that at first until I started researching it. It creates jobs. We have an infrastructure that is deteriorating, and if we don't take care of it now, what are we going to leave for our children? It is a necessity. And plus the fact, you got to think of our environment. That's part of it too. So I really feel what we had to do, we did. Our gas prices haven't gone up that much. If you look across the nation, you'll see that in other states across the nation, their gas prices have gone up much more substantially than ours have.
Yeah. All of a sudden, it's got a mind of its own, doesn't it?
Got mad at me.
There, we try that now. Well, that
Okay,
worked.
that
Kind of
worked.
snapped it into process there. Now, that's a very interesting point, and I can bring that up to our listeners. And that yes, we had some an increase in taxes, but the last candidate said we had the worst roads in the world, and we have a lot of them in California because we're servicing 38 million people. We have a lot of roads, and they're on it daily. And there's we are the port for the nation, so every truck that delivers stuff to Ohio and Indiana and Colorado and beyond comes from the Pacific Rim, which we're giving a lot of stuff in, comes over our roads.
Exactly.
And so unfortunately we have to shelter some of that. And we have to pay for it. But our taxes went up just a little bit.
Minute.
But we saw the gas prices go up a little bit more because President Trump put on the tariffs.
Thank you very much.
And, if you spend 12 cents more, that's bad enough. But when then you add another 33% or 33 cents, rather, on the price of a gallon of gas because the president decides to put tariffs on that we're having a good time today in China and all these other companies.
Every nation you can imagine is up.
Who are you going to favor, the Republicans or the Democrats? Well, you can criticize the Democrats for putting real, direct, concrete. This is what you're going to get, but this is what you're going to get for it: better roads. And Proposition 6 is on the ballot now. It would effectively reverse everything.
That we've tried to do. Have you noticed around the state, if you look even in our backyard, you're seeing roads being repaired?
$720 million.
Thank you very much.
In construction projects, including right out here on the 10 freeway.
That's what I was going to say.
That they're right in the middle of doing, expanding the roadway.
Exactly.
All the jobs it's creating.
We'd
lose all of that. It would stop immediately.
Everything.
So, it's a need. I don't want any new taxes. I don't want to pay for things. But, folks, you got to pay for what you get. And it's not that much. We're asking a little bit for a whole heck of a lot. And we had the argument over FedEx and the post office, too. I'm like, well,
oh, my gosh.
FedEx is, dozens and dozens times more expensive to get a package delivered than the United States Postal Service that basically does the same thing. He says, well, should you have to subsidize that? And I says, we have for years. And by the way, that's a benefit for us. I want to receive some benefits for my tax dollars, okay?
I kind of think I would like to as well.
Right. Social Security, Medicare.
Thank you very
having
much.
The old people that in our nation, including me now.
Oh, I'm glad you brought up seniors.
Yeah.
It's a shame those are the shoulders that we're standing on, and we're broadening ours for the next generation because we're going to be there in a minute. These seniors, every single month, do you know, Mark, that they have to make a decision between what life necessities that they can afford and the cost of medication, the cost of medical insurance is just ridiculous, let alone housing. We don't even need to go there. And we need universal health care. We really do, Mark. This will help our seniors. It will help our single parents that are living on the streets in cars with their children because they can't afford the necessities for their children. It will cut back the cost of medical insurance and medical care, plus the fact when you do preventative medicine, in the long term, a lot of our seniors that are out there now that are ill and have very, I don't know what kind of illnesses you want to call, but a lot of the illnesses that they have, they wouldn't have those if they were able to have preventative medicine along the way. So I hurt for those seniors.
I totally understand what you're saying. And, it's just, a trade-off here. Folks, fees, which is exactly what healthcare is. It's a fee.
Thank you.
Or taxes, and you would have Medicare for all. Or you would have some sort of a universal health care system where it would be actually a health care system, not insurance care.
Thank you.
And, these seniors, are expected to subsidize these insurance companies.
And it's a shame.
And Sean Flynn was talking about a health savings account, which we've heard this before. Oh, yeah. A health savings account amounts to, you'll get a tax deduction. Well, if you're not paying that many taxes, then the health tax deduction is not going to help you anyway. And
who's getting the tax deduction?
Exactly. And so what happens is, he wants to set up this $1,800 healthcare savings account where it says it works in Indiana, where people get that deductible of their healthcare taken care of or erased by a health savings account. Well, that's not the case because that health savings account never appears anywhere. It never appears because, well, it's not there. It's not there. If you're only paying so much in taxes,
if
you pay $500 in taxes and you're not getting anything back, then where do you get that health savings from?
Where's the savings?
Where's it going to come from?
I'm so glad you brought that up. A girlfriend of mine, one of my very good friends, when in our younger days, about 5 years ago, she went over to England to visit her beau at that time. She called me and she was sick. She had an abscessed tooth. And she said, Den, they don't take our insurance. So call Mom because I'm going to need money, thinking about what we would pay here. So I waited for her to call back for a couple of days. I didn't hear from her. I finally called her back. She said, I didn't get in touch with you because the bill was $4 for my medicine.
Oh, my gosh.
That's what we need here.
And dental care. We're so busy arguing for our health that we don't get a chance to say the dental. The dental is outrageous. I'm starting to bring this up more and more because I have a need. I have a bridge that's gone. I didn't have dental insurance. And, they're giving me quotes of $25,000, $30,000. That's a car, $25,000 or $30,000 for like 4 or 5 teeth in the back of my mouth. Thank God you can't see it, but it's hard for me to chew.
Sure.
And that's a chewing hazard and a swallowing hazard and the whole 9 yards.
And you know what else? It's a health hazard. However, if we had universal health care, you wouldn't have that problem because it would cover it all. And it wouldn't be a stress monetarily on the nation. The extra money we would save would be in the billions. That could help in our educational system. It could also help in our roads. It could help with our environment.
A little bit of cost control, too.
Exactly.
Oh, you talk about cost control and regulation, and they lose their minds. It's like, oh, no, we can't have that. It's private enterprise. He's quoting like LASIK eye surgery he thinks he can get for $500 an eyeball. And I'm like, you can't get LASIK for that.
An eyeball?
Yeah. I mean,
oh, my gosh.
Even $1,000, you can't get it for that. It hasn't gone in. And it's like, what world are you living in? But
Well, Mark, what I really believe is that there's two different worlds right now. The unions brought, and I'm kind of going off script here, but the unions made...
Oh, we don't have a script, folks.
Okay, good. No, I don't mean our script, but just as we're talking. The unions made us available for middle income, middle class people. We never had a middle class. They're separating this middle class and dropping them down, all of us, into a lower socioeconomic balance.
It's happening naturally, yeah.
Exactly. So when you bring up the LASIK for the eye surgery, people in the lower socioeconomic they don't even know, they can't even fathom what that is.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
These people are looking at what they can afford. They have the money, they get the tax breaks. These benefits are for them. They're not for everyone. I'm for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm for the people down here because every one of us are 2 and 3 paychecks away from being right down there with them.
Somebody needed to say 25 or 30 years ago, you can't charge $150 for an aspirin. You can't charge $35,000 for this little surgery you're going to do.
And you're out that evening.
Yeah. Yeah. And, healthcare and hospitalization has gone way, way down.
It really has. And housing. Let's talk about housing.
Oh, yes.
Have you ever thought that we would see housing for lower income people? A house would cost them $300,000 and $400,000.
It just blows my mind. This happened in the past 5-6 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's happened because of house flipping.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, and it's happened because we haven't regulated that.
Thank you.
And said no. There you go. There's privatization there. Real estate industry is not hardly regulated at all.
Mm-hmm.
And we got these people that come in and they buy the houses from the banks
for nothing.
From mortgage for nothing before they even get into the public. You can't even get a house like that. You used to be able to go and buy a repo or something like that. These RITs and these real estate trust companies and these big corporations now, these hawks on them, and they're buying them like a second they come available by a blip.
Exactly.
And then they take this. I had a house I was looking at. It was a $130,000 house. It wasn't a big house. It was like 1,200 square feet. This is a couple, 2-3 years ago. And it was a repo, and I knew it was, and I was trying to get it. It was in my neighborhood. I was watching it and everything else. All of a sudden, I see trucks out in front of me. I says, "This house hasn't even been on the market yet."
Exactly.
Oh, no, we bought it. We had
they
it
have
under
a
contract.
list. They have a list.
Yeah.
They have a list, and they watch these houses. They communicate.
It's corruption is what it is.
I think it is.
It's corruption on the end of the government and everything else when
And
we
it's
looked
a
at it.
shame.
It really is a shame. So what they did, they replaced a roof they didn't need to replace. Then they put in about $35,000 worth of improvements on it.
And
now
what they sell it for?
$276,000 from a house thing.
And who can afford that?
Who can afford it? But what it's doing is it's causing homelessness.
Exactly.
You say, why are all these people homeless? Yeah, there is some mental health issues. There is some drug addiction issues. But that's caused by people being homeless, too.
And let's talk about that because that's my favor. I usually start my presentation with, do you know who your neighbor is? Not the person next door. I'm talking about the one living in the gutter. You have, as I said, senior women is the largest community on the street right now because of pay equity
terrible.
and also the cost of living right now. And then you have your single mothers that are out there with their children. Little girls sleeping on the slide when I went out to feed them. This is unacceptable. When you have children that are homeless, they can't go to school, they're not getting medical care, they're out there free for these predators that are out looking for them. And this is our responsibility as a nation.
Go right here to downtown Redlands, to Denny's, right there on the nice State Street with all the nice shops and the diamond parlors, and right back away is an old abandoned shopping mall. And there's all these children there.
It's a
Okay, we're
shame.
running out of time, and this half hour went pretty quickly.
It really did.
It does go quickly, doesn't it?
Oh, my goodness.
But you know what? You have a website people can go to?
I do. My website is https dennyforassembly.com.
Is that the number 4 or the FOR?
The number 4.
The number 4, dennyforassembly.com.
And also my Facebook page is Denny for State Assembly. You can email me if you'd like, dennycaassembly42@gmail.com. I would love to speak with anyone that has issues or questions about why we're doing what we're doing.
Sounds great. And dennyforassembly.com and her Facebook page. And I got to tell you, Denny is a JAG. A former JAG. She's a lawyer. She's very well educated. She has a resume that I couldn't even get through because if I just read the Alpha Kappa Alpha Honor Society, Alpha Delta Kappa Honor Society, Phi Alpha Delta Golden Key Society, National Key Honor Society, named 2016 Woman of the Year by Senator Mike Morrell, and Las Arnigas Incorporated Member of the Year. I mean, you have, and then the list goes on and on and on. And she is the winner. She got the most votes, more than the sitting incumbent in the primary. We hope it continues on, and maybe we'll see the 42nd Assembly District go to Denny Antoinette Menzingo, and we'll be calling you Assemblywoman.
Thank you, Mark.
Very
This
good.
was a pleasure, and I'd be love to come back again.
And we will invite you back again, and we'll
Thank
sit
you.
around and talk here for a little bit,
Great.
just like with the last congressional candidate. Whether sometimes intelligent people, you get a charge off of them, and you
Yeah,
want to talk
you
to
do,
them,
and you wanna-
and you want to. And that was Sean. He's a smart guy. I like him.
Mhm.
Pete Aguilar's a nice guy too, and we're going to
Yeah.
have him on too.
Great.
And I don't know about Chad Mays. I can't get a hold of him, but
Chad is quite busy.
Yeah, quite busy. But
Yeah.
we are going to have as many political candidates on between now and the election, so you can get to know them as people, get to know their thoughts, and I take them away from their platitudes and their campaign slogans, and away from their trainers and say this and say that and their sound bites, and we get them live right here, sit them in the chair, and we talk about the issues, and all of a sudden we start to find common ground and
Yes.
human people, and that's what
Exactly.
we need to do. I'm Mark Westwood for KCAA 1050 AM 106.5 and 102.3. We'll be back next week, same time, right here on The Mark.
Thank you.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
Employment rate right now, a very low 3.9%. Still, UPS announced it wants to take on 100,000 workers for the holidays, full and part-time, with many leading to